It's no secret that those who are ultra successful or wealthy in life are also usually extremely disciplined and organized. The question is, how do you achieve their level of machine-like productivity and efficiency? Well, it's actually a lot simpler and cheaper than you'd think. But first, let's go back to when we were at school. Like me, you probably had homework and exams to prepare for. Now think about how you achieved your targets. You studied your ass off and did what you needed to, right? Here's the thing though. Back then, it was a bit easier because there was a strict system in place to keep you on track. For example, your parents would be called if you didn't complete your homework. But what happens as you get older? It's a completely different story now. You no longer have the luxury of your parents keeping you in check. There is no framework provided for your own personal targets or tasks. It's totally up to you to break down those big, overwhelming deadlines and targets into smaller, achievable tasks. And this is where you gotta leverage cognitive feedback and dopamine to your advantage. Cognitive feedback is just a fancy way of saying how your brain reacts to certain tasks or stimulus. And dopamine is the hormone released which makes you feel good. It's usually referred to as the feel-good or reward hormone. So yeah, this is how I leverage them. About 3 years ago, I invested in a simple, cheap tool that I'd use to basically force myself to do the things I knew I needed to do. I started using a daily notebook. And not any notebook, but specifically one with a calendar, so that I could map out personal deadlines and tasks. My thought process was that if I could just break bigger tasks into smaller subtasks for each week, I could stay on track and achieve my goals without burning myself out. Psychologically, what this does is it makes a task which looked overwhelming at first seem completely possible. And guess what? You now have a roadmap, a plan. And this changes everything. See, psychological studies have literally proven that people who use proper time management are more likely to have better job performance, academic achievements, and even their well-being is better too. This does make sense because those who plan and manage their time well have less to stress about since they're usually more organized. Also, another reason I started using the calendar notebook is because having tasks physically written out allows you to prioritize and order stuff by importance and urgency. The moment one task takes a pause for whatever reason, I could instantly check my list and know what other tasks I can start on. This massively boosted my productivity, which I feel like is the most important factor in maintaining success in the long run. I also read about how weekly planning had a noticeable impact on the rate at which people achieved their personal goals. Practicing weekly planning improved work engagement and cognitive flexibility. So basically, that means people were less likely to give up on difficult tasks and more likely to seek solutions, even if it required more steps. Here's the thing. Like I mentioned earlier, when we were at school, our parents and teachers were our accountability tool, since they would be on our case. But once you pass that stage of life, you're on your own. And most people try to manage day-to-day activities from memory alone. The problem with this is you can't visually see your progress, and there's no dopamine feedback loop being leveraged. There is a genuine deep power in writing stuff down on paper and physically being able to tick it off once completed. The dopamine you get from being able to tick off a task acts as momentum to then tick off the next. So, you're basically feeding off of your previous win for the next one. It's amazing what momentum can do for you once there is a visual reward cycle. In this case, simply being able to tick off a task from your to-do list. This is a type of psychological self-manipulation that you definitely want to take advantage of. It's one way I got myself addicted doing difficult tasks. Now back to the science, because there's more. Not only do we get benefits in terms of boosted productivity, but we also get mental health benefits too. Physically writing your tasks down frees up working memory, so the brain doesn't have to hold everything internally, reducing cognitive load and anxiety. This was something I actually noticed. I became less stressed out, which further boosted my overall productivity, mood, and energy. It's amazing how one simple tool can help build so many great habits, long as you actually stick to it, of course. Also, another benefit I noticed once I started logging my goals, tasks, and productivity, I now had data to expose my weaknesses. I can look at my daily tasks and see which I simply complete and tick off straight away, versus which ones I tend to procrastinate on and delay. For me personally, I noticed tasks which required me to start up a conversation with others, I would delay, Not because I was antisocial per se, but because I had such a limited social battery and it felt very draining. This changed once I gave myself this reward system for completing it. Being able to tick off that task was such a stress relief. The dopamine trumped that overwhelming feeling. One trick I used was to put these sorts of tasks right at the top of my priority list, so I could just bang them out right away when my energy was high first thing in the morning. This gave me a boost for the rest of my day's tasks. I then realized how quickly I could get things done if I just got those types of tasks done right away instead of delaying them. Anyways, I hope this video was something informative and beneficial for you. Let me know in the comments if there's other small tools or habits which boosted your productivity and made you sharper, more disciplined, or just less stressed out overall. I'm curious. And with that, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Threat neutralized. Male shooter.